This is not just another student motivation video. This is a warning. Because if you keep living like this, procrastinating, distracted, chasing instant dopamine while your dreams collect dust, you will be outpaced, outsmarted, and outranked by people less talented than you. They won't even work harder, they'll just follow a better system, a smarter strategy, a blueprint. That's what I'm giving you today. Not some recycled lecture telling you to study harder or sleep 8 hours. Not motivational fluff that fades the moment the video ends. What I'm giving you is a weapon, a mental operating system for students who are ready to stop being average and start becoming elite. And this didn't come from theory. This came from reality. I've been the top student. I've also been a failure. I've known what it feels like to get perfect grades, and I've known what it feels like to cry silently because I disappointed everyone, including myself. I've rebuilt myself. And what I discovered on that journey, it changed everything. This blueprint is built on 5 key principles. But don't confuse that with simplicity. These are not just 5 tips. There are 5 transformations. They don't just upgrade your study habits. They rewire your brain, your identity, and your future. But I'll tell you something up front. If you're watching this video with other tabs open, music in the background, or halfway through scrolling social media, you're not ready for this. Because the people who apply what I'm about to reveal will look back 5 years from now and smile, while the rest are stuck, bitter, broke, and forgotten. If that doesn't scare you, it should. Let's begin. The first shift begins with a mindset. You've been taught that grades are everything. But here's the truth. Grades don't measure intelligence. They measure systems. They measure focus. They measure discipline. And most importantly, they measure strategy. This is why students who are not naturally smart often outperform those who are, because intelligence without structure is chaos. But structure with discipline becomes dominance. So you must stop thinking like a casual student. You must start thinking like a strategist. And what do strategists do before going to war? They study the battlefield. You see, every exam you will ever face is a repeat of history. Teachers are lazy. Institutions are predictable. And if you study the past, you can predict the future. This is why your first move is this: gather past exams. Collect at least the last 3 years of papers. Print them. Study them. Analyze the pattern. Because just like any battle, exams follow patterns. Some questions are recycled, rephrased, reused. Some chapters are always emphasized. And some concepts are loved, not by you, but by your teacher. This is called academic espionage. You don't study harder. You study like a hacker. You crack the code of your curriculum. Ayanokoji would never go to war without intel. So why are you studying blind? From now on, every repeated question is your treasure. Every pattern you see is a map. And once you start decoding those patterns, you'll notice something strange. Your anxiety will vanish. Confidence will take its place. Because the unknown becomes predictable. And that's how you win. But that's only the beginning. Because even if you know what to study, your brain still needs to hold on to it. And that's where most students fail. They think they made progress because they spent 6 hours with a textbook. But after a few hours, they can't even recall what they read. Do you know why? Because your brain doesn't remember information when you're in comfort mode. You don't retain knowledge when you finish studying and immediately scroll on TikTok or binge another mindless show. Your brain has no reason to store that data. It gets flushed out by dopamine. So here's the trick. You must shock your brain right after studying, so it locks the information in. This can be done in 3 ways. First, do a heavy workout or run for 5 minutes. It doesn't need to be fancy. It needs to raise your heart rate. The adrenaline rush will trigger your nervous system to embed the data into your long-term memory. Second, take a cold shower. It's painful, but pain is a memory amplifier. It increases norepinephrine, the chemical linked to attention, clarity, and retention. You will remember more in 5 minutes of cold shock than in 2 hours of passive review. Third, use caffeine strategically. Don't be the fool who drinks energy drinks all day. Use caffeine like a sniper. A small cup before studying, then a bigger one after. That second dose helps your brain consolidate what you just learned. But don't abuse this. Mastery is about timing, not excess. Now let's talk about the core of retention, chunking. Your brain hates overload. It can't process walls of text, but it loves patterns. So take big topics and break them into logical sequences. If you're studying biology, don't just read about cells. Chunk it: types of cells, structure, functions, diseases. Then visualize. Ayanokoji doesn't just read. He imagines. He converts text into images. That's how memory sticks. Even better, apply the first 3 rule. In any new chapter, learn the first 3 key facts. Then move forward. It builds momentum and reduces stress. When you chunk information, you make it manageable, and when it's manageable, it becomes memorable. But let me say this clearly, none of this will matter if your focus is garbage. And most students today have the focus of a goldfish. This is where deep work enters. And this concept alone changed everything for me. Deep work is not just about locking yourself in a room. It's about entering a mental state where nothing else exists. No notifications, no distractions, no fake productivity. It is you versus the task. Laser focus. Intensity times time equals output. Imagine this. 2 students both do 20 units of work. Joe spends 10 hours working at level 2 intensity. Meanwhile, Rogan spends 2 hours at level 10 intensity. Who has more time for hobbies? For recovery? For real life? Rogan does. Because he works like a sniper, not a machine gun. You must schedule your deep work in sprints, 50 minutes of intensity, then a 10-minute break. Do this 3 times and you will outperform someone who studies all day with distractions. Set a timer. Eliminate all tabs. Shut your phone off. Work like a warrior. Because if you don't, someone else will. And that person will take the spot that could have been yours. And if you've watched this far and haven't subscribed yet, I want you to pause this video and ask yourself why. Why are you refusing to invest in yourself? Why are you so comfortable consuming life-changing content without even clicking a button? Because if you won't take the smallest step, you'll never take the big ones. Subscribe now, or enter the comments and explain to the world why you're okay with staying average. Now let's talk about resetting the mind. Every machine needs a reboot. Your brain is no different. But rest doesn't mean binge watching. That's not resetting. That's dulling your edge. Real resetting is walking. Alone. No phone. No music. Just silence and motion. It's underrated, but it's one of the most powerful focus tools ever created. You feel tired? Stuck? Foggy? Get up. Walk for 15 minutes. Let your thoughts untangle. Even better, breathe. Take 27 deep breaths. Hold the last one for 15 seconds. Repeat. It'll lower cortisol, boost ADP, and give your brain the chemical recharge it needs. And don't underestimate sleep. Not the number of hours, the quality. A clean 5-hour sleep in silence, darkness, and calm is better than 8 restless hours surrounded by noise and blue light. But if you're on a time crunch, learn the power nap method. Sleep in 30-minute intervals. 3 of those naps give you the equivalent of 6 to 8 hours. That's how Batman sleeps. That's how soldiers recover. Sleep like a warrior, not like a civilian. Now listen to me carefully. We are entering a world of chaos. AI is evolving. The job market is collapsing. The competition is multiplying. And in 5 years, the weak will be irrelevant. No one is coming to save you. Your parents won't. Your teachers won't. The system won't. It's either you rise or you rot. So if you've made it to this point in the video and you're still not subscribed, let me ask again, why? Why would you choose to ignore a roadmap that's built from real pain, real failure, and real victory? Click that button now. Or step into the comments and tell the world why you chose comfort over growth. Because the truth is, you're either building your future or destroying it through inaction. And if this video helped you, you owe it to your future self to lock it in. Rewatch it. Take notes. Apply it. Not next week. Not tomorrow. No. The people who win are not the smartest. They're the most disciplined, the most ruthless, and the most strategic. This blueprint isn't magic. It's math. You follow it, you rise. You ignore it, you fade. Subscribe now or regret it later. The clock is ticking. And while you're hesitating, someone else just became unstoppable.